They say we have a new normal. Well, if you're sitting there wondering how in the world you're supposed to adapt to this new normal overnight, I got good news. You're not alone, and I want to offer some advice for you. What's going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hey, how's it going? My name's Caitlin. I make 4 videos a week. On Tuesday and Thursdays, we are talking sneakers, and on Mondays and Fridays, I showcase a variety of other topics. For today's video, we're actually going to talk about a topic that I haven't really talked about yet, aside from the very first public video on my channel from a couple years ago, which I will card up there, and that is my experience with brain injuries. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video than you guys are probably used to here on this channel, but I really hope it encourages y'all because it's really personal for me. And yeah, all over the news and social media right now, we're being told that the life as we knew it before is gone. The way we used to do life, the normal that we're accustomed to, that we figured out how to thrive and survive in, no longer exists. And we're being told that things have changed overnight and will continue to change. And to be honest, that's a really scary and daunting thing for a lot of us. I think one of the reasons depression and suicide is on the rise right now is because a lot of people are struggling with this idea that life is changing and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Humans in general are creatures of habit. It's why we always visit the same coffee shops, sit in the same chairs at our houses or at meetings, and continually go to the same restaurants, because it breeds familiarity and there's great comfort in what you know. So I want to share my story today in hopes that it brings a little encouragement to all those out there who are struggling with this idea of change. For those of y'all who don't know my story, I am a brain injury survivor. I've suffered 2 very serious traumatic brain injuries, one in high school and one in grad school. Both of these injuries caused a major shift in my life and forced me to reinvent myself, all while adapting to a new reality of life. Growing up, the most important thing in my life was hockey. I dedicated my entire childhood, teenage years, and adolescence to the game that I loved. And suddenly one day, it was all taken away. At the age of 17, after getting knocked unconscious during a hockey game, doctors told me I could no longer play the game I loved anymore. I'd taken too much head trauma, and I needed to pack it in if I hoped to live a normal life. This was one of the toughest seasons of my life. I had to walk away from the game I love and adapt to a completely new normal way of life. Since humans aren't big fans of change, we tend to hold fast to the things we know inside of our comfort zone, even if they're bad for us. It's why you'd rather eat donuts on your couch instead of putting in work at the gym. It's why you won't quit a job you know that you hate, because it's safe and it's a comfort zone. When I was in grad school, I got a side gig as an assistant coach for one of our school's hockey teams. It was awesome, and I met some of my best friends for the season. But one day at practice, I blew an edge and I smacked my head really hard against the ice, resulting in another serious brain injury. This was another crazy period of time, which once again threw my life into utter chaos and forced me to adapt to a new normal, all without warning. One of the things that makes a brain injury so unique is that the normal you from before the injury disappears. Everything about you and your routine kind of gets erased. It's like you're the same person, but everything inside of you and around you is totally different. Doctors actually tell patients that they have to start from zero and understand that the old them is gone. There's no going back. This idea of losing the old you and having to reinvent yourself is one of the biggest mental hurdles in recovery. You lose a lot of yourself. For many, they lose their occupations, hobbies, friends, family, schools, and entire identities. It's all gone in an instant. This pain of losing everything you once knew is brutal and can feel really lonely. Recovering from a brain injury is all about adapting and moving forward into the unknown. Because we're learning who you are, how you view the world, and reestablishing a new set of normalcy while grieving and coming to peace with the fact that your entire life has changed. For myself, when I was learning to adapt to a new normal, a lot of times I felt like I was playing a familiar game, but all the controls had changed, and none of the cheat codes I had memorized worked anymore. It really sucked, and I very much felt alone, like I was starting at square one without any blueprint or instruction manual to help me get back up to level 100. I had to start at the very beginning and take things step by step. I had to learn to walk before I could run full steam ahead. The life I had known vanished, and now I had to carve out a new place for me to belong in this new and crazy, scary world. I think a lot of us kind of feel this way right now in the midst of this pandemic. Like we're playing this game called life that we've learned how to win at. Work, friends, shopping, sports are all kinds of like cheat codes that help us get ahead in the game. And suddenly, all these cheat codes have changed. Sure, you might still be able to work from home, but you don't get a retreat from your home. You don't get a retreat from your family and escape the parts of life that you might have been running from. The game has changed, but also stayed the same all at once. What once was normal is now foreign territory. And to be honest, I don't think we really understand or know how to react. Some of us are holding on to this idea of normal we had before everything went awry, deep down hoping that society as a whole will return to that point. Others are fully ready to jump full steam ahead into whatever the new normal is. Now, I'm not saying either is right, and I honestly don't know if or to what degree society will return to normal. But to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure a normal ever really exists. For a lot of people, the life they knew before the pandemic is gone. They've lost jobs, businesses have been forced to close, and many people have lost loved ones. Suddenly, society as a whole is walking into a new normal. We're in uncharted waters, and we're forced to find this new normal, to adapt on the run. Everything in this season feels new and different. Everything has changed. You as a person have changed. And now suddenly, on top of figuring everything out, you have to figure out how to do life. Now, don't get me wrong, finding a new normal when everything around you has suddenly and drastically changed is not an easy task. It's scary and intimidating, but it's absolutely doable. I did it twice. My encouragement for you out there, if you're struggling, would be to not look back longingly at what once felt normal and comfortable, but to pursue the unknown and see what's ahead. You'll enjoy the journey a heck of a lot more when you focus on becoming someone new, someone different, and keep your eyes open for new and even better opportunities down the road. Change shouldn't be something that necessarily scares us, and honestly, I wish it wasn't something that we're all so terrified of. A lot of times I think change is good because it forces us to put in the work to become new and different people. It forces you to work a little harder, get out of your comfort zone, and find new rhythms, find new ways of doing life. Both of my brain injuries forced me to hit the pause button, reevaluate, and readapt to a new normal. It didn't happen overnight, but with a little patience, a lot of tears, and a little grace, I was able to readapt. After a while, the new normal just became normal again. And I promise, if you're willing to go through the process and be gracious with yourself while you readapt, the same thing will happen for you. Heck, you may even grow into an even better version of yourself than the person you are today. This idea of a new normal may seem scary right now. It was for me, I know that. But looking back on my journey, if I knew everything that was waiting for me on the other side of my injuries and the person I would become, I wouldn't have changed a single thing. I went through a lot, but I grew and I changed and I readapted. To be completely honest, I think a lot of us would be a little better off if we were all just a little more adaptable and we loosened our grip on life. Sometimes I think it takes us leaving behind what seemed normal and beginning again with baby steps, trusting in a better tomorrow, for us to find the right path and become the person that we were created to be. Normal is boring. Comfort breeds contempt, and I think we have to become content in adapting to new things in life. After a brain injury, you don't recover immediately. It takes a process. So if you're adapting to a new normal right now, cut yourself some slack and learn to enjoy the process. Here's the really good news. You're not in this quest of readapting alone. Every single person is going through this season of life together collectively, just in slightly different ways. Use other people as support, as sounding boards, but don't judge them if they're in a different stage than you. But know that you're not alone. I think for myself, when I look back on how I readapted from my brain injuries, what was key was the fact that I was willing to let go of what was on the other side. I knew that that wasn't good for me anymore, and I needed to adapt. I needed to take steps in a new direction. And I had faith that there was hope in tomorrow, that what was on the other side was going to be good for me. And I just needed to put in the work to get there because life was going to change for the better. I was willing to let go of what was hurtful and toxic and not good for me anymore to get to the good. I had hope in a brighter tomorrow. And I think that's what we need to do right now. This pandemic is scary. It's been abysmal and bad for our mental health on so many levels. But we have to put our hope in a brighter tomorrow. The future is a hopeful, exciting, fun place. So no matter how scary or daunting readapting looks, just have faith and have hope that tomorrow is a brighter day. And you don't have to readapt all at once. It's a journey. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Just do one thing different. Just put your hope into one thing. Try one new thing. Try new skills. Relearn other skills. Be open to new things. And know that good things wait for you on the other side of readapting. looks like that is all the time we have on today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. I shared a little bit more of a personal insight into my journey post-brain injury and readapting to a new normal of life, because that's where I believe society's kind of at right now. We're on that verge of life starting again, but in new ways, and we have to adapt as people and as a society. So I really hope you guys liked today's video. If you related to it at all, I'd love it if you leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you took away from it. What are your thoughts on adapting to a new normal? And after you do that, make sure you hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button to join the family. Just starting this YouTube journey, I can't wait to see where it leads us. Maybe I'll post more brain injury content in the future, but you know, I just thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and for hitting that subscribe button and joining the family. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.